It's the final episode of this session. We're moving into hour 4. There's Batiste. This is Batiste's final Poker Time appearance ever.
At least it might be. It might be. He's moving all the way across the country.
Yeah, so he really may not be around anymore. We'll see.
So you guys got to savor the flavor of Batiste.
That feels like a chip motto.
Yeah. You never heard of Batiste potato chips?
I have
Batiste
not,
flavored
actually.
potato chips?
No. Jeremy's going to call with the Jack 8 suited on the button.
They taste like hair conditioner.
What does hair conditioner taste like? How would anyone know that they taste like hair conditioner?
You don't think they have scientists working on this stuff?
I mean, what situation would you have to be in where you're like, I know what hair conditioner tastes like?
Well, you
You're
would
like,
know if you
you're
drank some hair.
You're on a deserted island.
Anyway.
Top pair for Jeremy.
Ken flops a set, and Isan flops middle pair, so
Everyone's-
some action here.
Yeah. The nature of this heart board forces Ken not to slow play. And the question is, I don't think Jeremy can fold top pair yet.
No, it's not a good spot, but it's not a spot to fold. Did he raise?
No, it's 75 is the
okay.
bet. Isan might be able to get away from this right now.
I think you can easily get away from this right now.
Yep, looks like when he does that, he's folding. He's folding.
Little card funeral, but not too long of one. I appreciate that.
It's a good deal, Isan. You are drawing almost dead.
And that's quads for Ken.
Yep, everyone's drawing dead to Ken now. I like that Ken's going to bet again.
It's a good quads to bet for sure.
Yep.
On a 3-heart board where it's the bottom pair on the board. It's
He
good.
bets super small, also trying to give all the hands a chance to stick around, including like a big flush draw and a straight draw and things like that.
I think Jeremy's probably supposed to call here. Ken has
Yeah.
plenty of like king of hearts with a 9 or king of hearts with a queen type hands.
I agree for sure he's supposed to call. Except he's losing so bad he should fold. Now this is a bad card as it turns out for Ken, but this could be a great card for Ken.
Yeah, Ken might think he just he checks it.
Oh, cagey check.
Little sneaky check.
I like this check. I don't think a bet's gonna like. Jeremy's got to have a medium heart to check back, which he probably wouldn't call on the turn.
Oh, really?
Look how unhappy Jeremy is.
It's because I double checked. It wasn't like Jack.
5 threes.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, didn't have a heart.
Who's got
Kings,
quads?
speaking of
King,
that
queen
being
of hearts.
behind. Speaking of that being behind, dude.
All you do is have the royal.
Bad beat.
Yeah.
Jackpot.
No, I'm saying it would have been good for the stream.
I'm down.
I really like that check by Ken on the river.
Yeah, Jeremy has probably a few more hearts in his range than Ken, maybe. But either way, Ken has a lot in his range that's supposed to be afraid of hearts.
Yep. And if Jeremy had a straight draw, which he probably isn't calling on the turn that often, if he had like king queen and decided to call the turn because he got the overs also and it was cheap, maybe actually he makes a straight. Actually, if he has king queen, he's going to check it back, so that's not a good example.
Batiste with a beautiful ace-king suited under the gun.
Indeed.
We had a lot of ace-king on our last episode, episode 3, but I don't think any of them were suited, and I was kind of sad, you know? Because
It was sad.
It looks so much better.
Well, 75% of the time, your ace king will not be suited.
Don't shout math at me.
Was I shouting?
You know what? It felt like it. It was more about the implication than the tone.
What was the implication?
That you're just being a dick. You get it.
I appreciate you spelling it out, actually.
I was a psychology major, so I understand that.
It's clear.
Yeah.
It's clear that you majored in psychology.
Yeah.
That's what everyone would say.
What do you think they would say?
I just said that's what everyone would say, so I guess that's what I think. They might think you just majored in being a douche.
That's not. They didn't let me.
That wasn't available?
No. I would have loved to major in that.
Mason opens the ace-5 suited. And all the chickens run away.
It's a weird thing to say.
I know.
All the chickens.
But look,
run
it's
away.
true. Oh, no, Batista's going to defend. He always defends. He always plays the 4 deuce.
He loves the 4 deuce. Him and Dan love the 4 deuce.
Yeah. Why? I don't know, because some people play poker for stories, Grant.
King 10. We've seen that before, but it's not going to help anybody this time.
Oh, yeah.
Mason just going to protect his equity mostly here, about 15.
$15 bet. Kind of love that sizing, I must say.
We've seen Mason do that. He hasn't been as active in recent episodes, but early on, he was in a lot of pots, and he was downsizing, whether he had it or not, a lot, post-flop heads up. And it's an overall strategy he has. It's kind of cool.
Yep.
Until they start busting tables from the tournament.
We saw him with Ace King on a King King 10 board. I think very early on.
It was
Bet
$15 then
15
too.
into 65, I think, and then on the turn he bet like 115 into 90,
Yeah,
95.
that's right.
Game right at noon. Everybody will be in the tournament.
I was gonna say Pendleton goes quick unless you get a. It's a decent structure if you get a double early. You know, then it plays slow enough. But otherwise, it's pretty fast.
That's what it's got to be to make the structure good. I agree with you.
Who are you trying to get here?
Well, like this year you're
there's
selling
play
with like
late.
30K
Oh,
in chips.
35?
Yeah.
Oh, it's more.
Germany opening the suited connectors.
It used to be like 8,000 or 2,000. Now we're selling
Enemy
with
that one?
like 25 plus 5,000.
Thanks. I'm plugged in.
Oh, okay.
30,000.
Oh, maybe it won't be like.
1 hour level.
No action
No action.
with the hand that he didn't necessarily want action with.
Yeah.
Definitely happy to take it down.
Isn't that pretty much everywhere though?
Always happy to win, really. Should always be happy to win.
You should be, but there are certainly times where you're like, wow, I really could have won a lot more there.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel so good.
Yeah. Actually, last episode we had a hand where Batiste 3-bet ace jack, flop top 2, check called against Randy's ace queen, and just check called the flop basically, and there was no more action that happened in that hand, and that was a spot where he almost certainly could have gotten more. So there's an example.
I got 2 speeding tickets in 1 day.
I remember that.
1 day.
You got 2 what?
2 speeding tickets in 1 day. And
I
probably
remember you're like,
played
man, I got to
two-
make this much money just to pay the speeding.
Isn't that like double Jeopardy or something?
and then busted the tournament
that's
in
how it
like
works.
2 hours.
That's what I thought.
Catherine Zeta-Jones over there.
If you murder 2 people and get charged for both, that's not double jeopardy.
Wow, Jeremy asking Nick about, or Wonka about
Yeah.
murder, I guess.
Wonka knows a little bit about the law, clearly. He
Yeah.
just showed us that. Or at least he's seen that movie with Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman.
Which is basically Lawyer's Digest.
I mean,
Article.
I'm sure it's accurate. So,
Yeah.
Lawyer's Digest. That is a surprisingly good publication. I will say that. You would
mean-
think it sounds like it's kind of like crappy, like a lot of poems and stuff by lawyers, but it's not.
It's
not just poems.
really good crossword, too.
Okay, so Joseph is open-ended, but he doesn't want to hit a 7 because that would make a full house for Ken.
Yeah, Terminator's got ace 4 as well here on this board.
Batiste started with a good hand, but it has devolved into a whole lot of nothing. Joseph calls the 110. I like this call by Joseph.
I like this fold by Terminator.
Yeah, me too. Joseph absolutely can have a 6 and really might play it like this, at least some of the time.
And overpairs loom large as well.
That's a
There's a
pair for
3.
Joseph. This may be enough for Joseph not to have any reason to bluff now, although he can't love it when Ken fires again.
It's not a great spot right now. He still has the open ender, but it'll be super obvious if it comes in now.
Yep. This is really a bad spot if he wants to call. I think it plays better as a raise.
I think a call is okay. I mean, Ken sometimes fires away.
Not too often into 3 opponents and then into the caller. Not too often.
Ken is going to bet again.
So-
I don't know what he's trying to get called by.
I don't know either.
I think Joseph has a lot of 8s, 9s, and 10s in his range here and that are going to call, and Ken doesn't want that. I don't think Joseph can call with a 4 or a 3.
I mean, I think Ken doesn't want Joseph to have a 6, so he's betting. And
I
don't-
guess.
That's all I can come up with. Like, he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't want Joseph to have that hand and doesn't know what to do, and so he's just going to bet it. This
Ken
card
bets
makes it.
small at least.
This spot feels like it's a pretty easy fold for Joseph, even though he's getting, in quotes, the right price. Ken would have to be triple barreling.
He does fold, and that fold is kind of just showing how even with a small bet there's not a lot of value in betting the river,
Yeah.
having taken that line against Joseph calling twice.
I mean, if Joseph folds the 3, he's probably folding pocket 5s.
Yeah.
And that's the next hand down from 7s.
Well,
Is he
you could
folding
have-
pocket 8s maybe
You
is
could
the
have 4
question.
5. You could have 4 5 suited.
Diversification.
That's above a 3 and below 5s.
Right, it's the next hand down from 7s.
Oh, from
though.
7s, yeah.
The question, though, is he folding like 8s, 9s, and 10s? Because if he's folding 8s, 9s, and 10s, suddenly that's
I think he's
interesting
calling
bet again.
those hands. I really think he's
He
calling.
might might just feel like he has to call them.
Yeah.
I don't know. When the king comes, it's such a small bet, he might call. And then that's a real problem.
Yeah.
If he's folding 5s and calling with 8s, it's a disaster. I don't know if he really is doing that.
I think that's what I would do.
Hey, Joseph's got jacks. You know what he loves to do with jacks?
He's going to limp.
He always limps the jacks.
He seriously limps 100% with jacks, at least
Feels
this
like
session. This session.
Feels like he's been limping with jacks for as long as I've been alive.
Eons.
Since,
And that's eons. Batiste just calling with the queens here.
wow, this could have been a much bigger pot just with the jacks and the queens
Well, it
already.
still could be. Joseph could decide to 3-bet.
He usually doesn't, though, in this spot.
He usually has not been. That's
He
true.
often will just call.
And he does.
Well, if it comes all babies, Joseph could lose a lot of money here. Did not come all babies.
That's not a flop he's going to lose a lot of money on.
Spades for Terminator also. Terminator's going to feel emboldened to keep going.
Terminator flops.
Terminator has the initiative, flops sort of best.
He flops in a way that's easiest to play. Batiste
Yeah.
flops best, but it's tough to play.
185.
Terminator picked up the most equity on that flop, though.
Batiste hates that king.
Batiste might just fold 3 ways. You know, 3 other players in the hand besides himself.
Wouldn't be crazy.
Terminator deciding to bet this. Terminator's often going to check if he misses here. Batiste knows that.
Yeah, Terminator is either going to have a flush draw, a straight draw, or a king.
Batiste does have the queen of spades in his hand, which maybe makes it a little bit more attractive to call. He also has position on the rest of the table.
I don't know, you'd like Terminator to have the queen of spades in his hand right now, at least.
Ooh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I saw you, Rican. It's okay.
Joseph's going to probably lose the absolute minimum with jacks here.
Yeah, I don't know if you can overcall on this board.
Yeah, he chooses not to. I think that's probably right. Will Terminator fire again? Second barrel probably will get it done.
It looks like Batiste has a king. He has king, queen, king, jack, king 10 suited in his range. He just
Still,
called pre-flop.
What's the plan? To check call? I like a bet way more than a check.
I think I like a bet better as well. Terminator can't fold to a lot of sizes. Some sizes he can fold to, but Batiste checks it back.
Terminator could have checked raised, actually, now that I think about it. He did have a reasonable stack to check raise with.
He now makes a 7, which is pretty much never good.
Unless Batiste says, oh, Jack 10 got there, actually. Batiste has to have a gutter.
He has to have queen, jack of spades.
Or just other spades.
Yeah.
Batiste checks it back and is going to win. Yeah, Terminator, I think the turn bet probably gets through. Probably.
Sometimes Batiste gets really sticky, though.
Yep.
No, I thought I folded the winner.
But, you know, you build a pot for when you hit your 7 on the river.
For the record,
Yeah.
Stuart owes me money.
Nice old 7.
Wow. You said it on camera.
I did. I wanted to get that recorded.
I'm glad you made a pair on it.
We're not picking up Jeremy that well.
No, we're really
Talks.
Hey, you got me.
I'm really not
Hey,
sure what I'm
I
doing.
can't bet it. Obviously.
If you don't call, I'm calling.
Another ace king. This is the session of ace king. So much ace king.
3 times, buddy.
He's going to limp it, it looks like. Joseph is Mr. Limp.
So Joseph was just telling Batiste how he limped jacks on the last hand, and now he limps ace king.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And Batiste is going to raise with 7 high because he doesn't believe the spiel.
I mean, I get it. It feels like Joseph. I mean, how does Joseph have another hand right
Yeah.
now? Time for the raise, Joseph.
Nope,
No?
he's just gonna call.
What? Weird. So weird. This is how he plays
Terminator.
jacks.
Terminator, by the way, playing 6-4.
Not anymore. Terminator just contributed $10 to the Joseph Batiste fund.
Heads up.
Check.
And that is an incredibly
Wow.
good flop for Batiste.
Amazing flop for Batiste. By the way, Terminator would have flopped double gutted.
Not a
Batiste
really
checks
good.
it
It's not a
back.
good double gutter though.
No, but it's still double gutted.
Yeah.
Joseph does have the king of diamonds. That's it.
Time to start betting if you're Batiste for sure.
Absolutely. Batiste is like, all right, you would have bet jacks already.
135.
Joseph's
Joseph-
a non-believer.
Deciding to
That makes sense. When
see,
Batiste
see
checks
one
it
more.
back,
Yeah, let's see one more.
Joseph has the best hand here sometimes, for
Yeah.
sure. Not currently, although no one's going to like that card. Randy would have won the whole thing.
Okay.
Randy being Terminator.
Yeah. The Amazing Randy.
Thank God he checked in the dust.
We're winning.
You know why they call him the Amazing Randy?
Really?
Because he always folds the best hand.
Anthony's like, damn the dumb.
It's amazing.
I'm going for a career high.
The
Would
6-4
have been the best hand that time.
would have been.
Yeah.
Every time he folds the best hand, I'm going to call him the Amazing Randy. We'll see how that goes.
Sounds smart.
Yep.
You flop the
Does.
nuts. We're ahead now.
Oh, you? Oh, I'm glad I 3-bet.
You raised
Play
like
this
85?
shit. Yeah.
80? Yeah, I can't call check. I know.
I'm adding 8. I'm adding 8.
Dang it.
Don't mind.
Wonka with the deuces under the gun. A lot of players are going to play this hand. Will Wonka play this hand? Yes.
I think he would fold it in a shallower game, but it's a deep enough game.
Yep.
Play this under the gun.
He's basically mostly playing this
Whoa.
besides the steal. Wow.
Batiste, what's going on, buddy?
Wow.
Well, at least he's 3-betting and not calling. But
Well, yeah. Still, he's going after Wonka's under the gun range. Batiste knows Wonka's the tightest player at the table.
tightest ranges at least.
Well, yeah, plays that's sort of the same pre-flop, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Wonka cannot fold. And Batiste is like, okay, well, he doesn't have aces, and he usually doesn't have kings, and he usually doesn't have ace-king here.
Well, Batista's usually going to get to win this hand to his credit. That's a board
Even
he
more so
should
now.
be able to win on.
Yep. Batiste has a whole lot more ace
Oh,
king
he checks
than
it
Wonka.
back. Another 10.
Wonka has more tens, for sure. Batiste still has ace king and queens full and things like that. I'm really surprised Batiste checked that board. That is surprising. I guess he thinks Wonka's got a lot of big cards, though. Maybe not too much ace king, but hands that won't fold the flop.
Yeah.
I guess really you're only getting like under pairs to fold.
And Batiste blocks 2 of the underpairs with his
Indeed.
incredibly wonderful hand.
Batiste open-ended.
I think
Probably.
now you got to take a shot.
It's like, okay, fine.
Now he could be betting hands like ace jack. It makes sense.
Yep.
And that's how you win with 9-4.
Yeah.
You just 3-bet the under the gun range of the guy who has a really tight under the gun range.
And have it work out.
Yeah. That's
mean,
the plan.
Basically, Wonka had to flop a set probably to win that hand most of the time.
Yeah.
So that's good when they need to flop a set to win. Often Wonka's going to have other cards there, though, where he's not going to. He's going to have the ace queens and the ace jacks and the king queen
Yep.
suiteds and things like that. And Wonka's calling with a great deal of his under the gun opening range there pre-flop, and that board is good for most of it.
All right, Batista's losing his mind.
Yep.
This is
the I'm leaving forever.
these are ranges that we see players play on Poker Time, but Batiste is usually not one of those guys. He gets a little wide open sometimes, but he's not usually playing hands like this +1. He's not 3-betting the under the gun player with 9-4. This is different.
Joseph, by the way, thinking and calling with the queen 7
Wow.
suited. Amazing. Wonka definitely going to call now.
We've got a bunch of really nice looking hands.
Well, 3 of them are suited, and then you have Batiste's hand.
Ken flops top pair and Wonka flops a flush draw.
This is the kind of board Wonka could have let out on. Chooses not to.
Could go for a check raise because he has plenty of 5s in his range.
Yeah, I don't hate a check raise at all here.
Joseph knows he's probably got 5s in his range, but decides against.
Not nearly as much as Wonka does, though.
No.
Wonka's got the most 5s by a lot, and has got equity when called.
Yeah, I like this as a check raise for sure.
Feels like a check raise spot. It checked to the guy in position who bet. That's good.
Ken will bet hands like ace jack here too.
Yep. He'll bet hands like 7s and 6s. Okay, looks like he is.
220 total.
There we go, 220.
Batiste has the ace of spades
Wow,
and
Batiste
is
is
feeling
not folded
squirrely.
yet. Wow. This would completely work if he made a move here.
It would. It would be incredible.
He blocks the nut flush draw. That's really not the time you want to make the move.
Worked out kind of good then, Mason, for you.
Is he thinking about flatting the whole thing and making a move on the turn if a spade comes? Seems crazy, and he does
Gives
let
up
it go.
the idea. Ken looks like he's not giving anything up.
He is the king of the skeptics, and it pays to be the king of the skeptics right now.
Yeah, right now it's a good
You're
time.
way ahead. A 10 would be a good card for Ken, that's for sure. So would an 8.
Excellent
Jack.
analysis.
So the question is, will Wonka continue now that he's been called?
I think against Ken you have to because we've seen Ken be sticky so frequently.
Agreed.
He doesn't have to have much. He has a lot of hands that'll fold right now.
Yep. A lot of hands way worse than this 8, like
Yeah.
you were saying even. Ken Mike Summers call with ace jack here. Even call the raise with ace jack. We've seen him do it. I agree. I think this is a pretty clear continue.
Wonka does.
He bets really small though, only 300.
There's
To the
Batiste.
580. It's a little less than half pot.
You said you ran bad
So now Wonka might be setting up though a shove on the river.
Not really.
right? There'll be almost 1,200 in the pot. He's going to have 1.3 left. I don't know if he's actually going to pull the trigger, but
He could also bet something like 400 on the river.
yep, could do
But
either one.
instead, he just takes his aggression and gets to win there. That was well played by Wonka.
Yeah.
Play Reg every tournament and go downstairs and play cash.
Cash is good.
Yeah, cash is phenomenal.
Oh, they have the tournaments upstairs in a convention room or something, a convention hall? Not in the regular poker room, obviously. Yeah.
Just over 14K in the pot. The turn is the 4 of diamonds.
Hey, what is that? Speaking of turn, coming around the mountain? Is
Oh.
that the Nitrogen Sports Poker train?
I think they did buy a train recently.
If you listen, you can hear its very familiar jingle. And choo-choo. Wait, there's the jingle. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro.
Wow, that's the weirdest ad ever. All of a sudden. Anyway, Nitrogen Sports Poker Room is, they let us do ads like this.
They
perhaps
do.
because they don't listen to them.
Free reign, baby. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro.
But the regular poker room's nice. You have the highlight room in the back.
It is very nice.
Yeah. Jimmy,
Running
I
ups
think, is
and
the highlight.
Okay, we're back. The train finally got to the station.
Are they ever going to do like a...
Hey, Kings.
all right, I'll save the joke for later.
People are on pins and needles waiting for
Some people are, Grant.
that. Your mom, maybe?
My mom thinks I'm funny.
I know she
sure.
does.
Is Joseph making a move here with 6-2 off because it's a bad time?
This is a terrible time. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's noticed that Batiste is going nuts.
He's right.
But Batiste happens to have it this time. He just calls.
I love it.
Perfect timing by
Love
Batiste
it.
to just call.
He's called the way he calls when he doesn't really have a good
When he's
hand
got like
either.
King 10.
Yeah, he really did. The same kind of a thing there. It was a little fast, maybe, but besides that, I think it's all the same. Joseph actually flops a pair.
That might
Joseph
save
has
him
some equity.
That might save him some money. He might not bet that much.
Oh, he's betting 200, and he's just calling right away. He's just like, I'm beating everything but queens here, pretty much.
It doesn't make me.
I guess aces.
And I guess 5-9 and 6-9 because Joseph would have those hands.
Yeah.
7-8.
Joseph's gonna fire a second time. There's just
So
no way.
now
Batiste can
he's
fold.
bluffing. This is not for value.
Yeah.
He's trying to get Batiste off of a jacks, 10s type hand.
See this one.
You were the chip leader with
What are you looking
40
for?
blinds?
No, he
Ace
has,
5 of
Pot
diamonds.
is unreasonably big.
Another diamond comes.
and then a couple hands later.
Will
don't-
Joseph fire away?
I don't think it's going to work if he does.
He goes
Whoa.
all in. This might work.
This is huge.
And Batiste folds instantly, so I guess
Wow.
I guess it was gonna work.
The ace of diamonds.
Joseph claiming he had the ace of diamonds. He's claiming he was bluffing with the ace of diamonds.
Yeah, instead of with 6 deuce.
King's there. How do you fold kings?
Can't beat anything.
Well, there's something you can beat.
You can beat a bluff, but
I mean, it looks like backdoor diamonds, honestly, the way Joseph played it, right? He only had a pot size bet left.
backdoor diamonds or queens full
Yeah.
or
All air.
something aces. You can play aces like that.
I guess he could.
It was like deuce 3,
I don't know if he's actually going to shove aces on the river.
3, which was actually good on the flop.
Thought he
He
was.
might bet a lot smaller.
And but he turned 2 pair, deuces and 3s.
But, he
Well, Batiste isn't going to like watching that
Oh,
one.
but he's going to be very sad
worked out for him.
when he sees that pot.
Yeah.
335.
You snap
would show a
folded the
bluff.
river.
Yep.
35?
That was on track to be one of the bigger pots in poker time history. That was going to be about a 4.7K pot.
Yeah.
He's called. He would have called and
I know he can't have the nut flush. That's why I was like, I got lied to. Bro. I said, you have ace 5 of diamonds?
Like good.
And then the 5 of diamond card. I had the ace. I just wanted to see the reaction.
I was merging.
It's like what?
Yeah, aces in there. It's like,
So I got
pretty cool play there. That was pretty fun. Pretty fun hand. Batiste's open-ended here. I wonder if he's feeling the sting, since Joseph is telling him that he was bluffed.
Although he's telling me he was bluffed with the ace of diamonds rather than with 6 deuce.
But still, bluffed all the same. The sting feels like the sting.
Yep. You don't like the sting.
Joseph has, well, he's got backdoors. Up the
Backdoor
yin-yang.
royal draw.
690.
He's open-ended, and he's just going to put the raise in right now because I think he's unhappy with.
It's also a fine play to put the raise in right
Of course it is. But I think he's more apt to call if he hadn't just been bluffed in the last hand and been told about it.
We're even, bro. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst. have King Jack of Hearts there. And look at the queen. Don't show me the turn. Don't show me the turn.
I would never.
I know. I would never ask.
Yeah, that's dark.
Some guys, you know what I mean? It's like what?
Joseph just taking shots at Batiste with about 40 minutes left in Batiste's poker time life. He's just like, I want the last of this guy's soul.
I mean, that 6-deuce hand is really, that is going to live on in Batiste infamy.
He was still.
Like, if anyone wants to make a GIF of that and send it on Twitter, we can forward that on to Batiste.
Yeah.
He'll see it on our Twitter feed, too. We will definitely retweet a GIF of that. The bluff on the river. You may have to put the all in, the words all in on there, too, when Joseph says it, so everyone knows.
Is that what you just said?
Okay.
We're playing OKC?
I guess that's what he said.
It's going to be like the frickin' Pelicans last year.
Looking at Ken. There's Batiste.
Yeah, Batiste is just now playing every hand, it looks like.
Yeah.
And looks unhappy. But he always looks unhappy, in fairness.
Well, he did just get bluffed and told about it in a pot that he could have won about $2,500 in, so that's not ideal.
Yeah, that's probably true.
We've got a gut shot for Terminator. We've got
Gut shot for Batiste.
an 8 for Joseph is the best hand right now.
And that's it. Still, Joseph has the best hand.
100.
100's a bet. Oh.
But he's thinking about making a move because he can rep 4s and he has the gut shot.
Can't rep 4s that well, though.
Oh, well, you can if you're Batiste right now and you're playing everything.
He knows that, but does everyone else know that?
Maybe not.
Then you can't really rep 4s as well.
If you're Isan, you can rep 4s.
Yeah. Now, that said, if he makes a move, it's probably going to work. But it's not going to happen. And it's just going to go. The best hand will win. That seems reasonable to me. I like it when logic...
So you didn't like it when Kings lost to 6-deuce because the best hand lost?
No, I didn't like that.
But you like seeing Batiste get bluffed.
I love that. I loved it so. And I will really want... Batiste, if you can go back in time and like set up a webcam so when you watch this episode, we can see your reaction to this hand as it happens. We would love that.
Yeah.
I would definitely make a GIF of that and put it out to the world. Yeah. Or even just for our own personal amusement. My personal amusement, I would love
It's
to
on repeat on the Levy TV at home.
It'll be my screensaver.
No, I mean, that's good. Yeah.
Jeremy with the ladies.
Poker rom-com.
These ladies ain't ladies unless they are ladies.
That is a amazingly accurate reference to the high stakes poker song. I'm all in, which was just the worst, that song.
Yeah. Got the ace of jacks, got the ace of diamonds, he ain't holding back.
What the hell?
I don't know.
Anyway, here we go.
And there's the lady.
Top set. Anyone have anything?
4s for Batiste.
Yeah.
5-6 backdoor straight draw.
This is going to have Mason behind him.
I think
just not a lot there.
Jeremy will be disappointed by the result of this hand unless he checks, which is reasonable to bet. Although if there's a time to check top set, this is a pretty good time.
There's better times. I mean, look, Batiste calls
is
anyway.
gonna call.
Well, Batiste gets what he wants, which is Mason folding behind him.
Jeremy just looking to avoid 8s and kings here.
Yeah, that is a fantastic card, of course. Actually, both players like this card. But Jeremy's the kind of guy who can barrel the turn and not have it. So I don't know what Batiste is going to do here. Batiste being in position might decide to hang in there, assuming Jeremy even decides to bet. But I feel like this is a pretty clear bet.
As we can see, it probably works out better as a check. Batiste probably bets if Jeremy checks, I would guess.
10 seconds. 150.
Batiste calls instantly.
Wow. Okay, Batiste is not having any of that. And he's drawing dead.
That's not the greatest card in the world.
It's a real bad card for Jeremy. It's a spade, and it more importantly completes Jack 10, which is the most likely draw.
Backdoor spades do come in. I think Jeremy... Well, we can see if he bets, he's probably not going to get any action. But if he checks, he's probably not going to get any action.
Yeah, there's no way to get more action here.
Unless Batiste decides to turn his 4s into a bluff.
Then Jeremy
Once
can
check too.
actually lose the pot if he bets. And Batiste decides to turn his hand into a bluff at that point.
Yeah. That said, Jeremy might want to try and get some value out of, I don't know, what, ace-queen?
He's got to have the case queen, Batiste does.
Jack. You have it.
Batiste knew what that whole long think that meant Jeremy had it. He was right.
Glad I wasn't in that hand.
That was impressive, actually. Sort of got that. Jeremy was trying to decide whether to better check.
Yeah.
You weren't calling a river bet?
Just a bad
Not on
river.
that river. I was calling on some rivers, yeah.
Small.
I mean, everything gets there.
I know.
Well, that one's yours. No, that one's his.
I love when you have a hand like pocket queens and it's like 5 ways to the flop and you just flop top set, which is the nuts, and you just feel so relieved.
Yep.
What a feeling.
It is great. Flopping a set is just a wonderful feeling, period. It's
It
like,
is.
oh, yeah. That's really good.
It doesn't happen nearly often enough.
No.
I think it should happen half the time.
Half the time?
If I'm elected to poker president, sets will be flopped half the time that you have a pocket pair.
Huh.
Just so everybody gets
That's
to
a
feel.
strong platform.
Everybody gets to feel good all the time, you know?
So here's Mason with the threes, and he is
Going to
thinking-
fold?
Well, yeah, he was thinking about it, but
I
doesn't
think
want the
Terminator's-
action to be reopened here.
Terminator is also going to fold, I would imagine, but
he's going to, right?
he's got the old 6 high, and
Oh, I looked at it and it reminded you to push the button. Idiot. What? I just called myself an idiot.
I'm confused. Genuinely confused.
Good.
I'm confused too.
I mean, so I guess Terminator's thinking about making a move here.
Looked at what? I heard what you said.
This is a time card. I guess he's
This is
strongly
interesting.
considering a re-raise?
It's either all in or fold, though.
Okay, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
It's either all in or fold, he said.
Wild West rules.
I don't think that's ever true with a stack of 1.4K
No.
and a cash game when you get 3-bet to 140. There's no
Yes.
hand where that's true.
I agree.
I used 3 time cards today. That tells me, come on.
There's no reason to use that time card.
That was strange.
Huh?
Probably calling it.
But yeah, it's either shove or fold.
It's either shove or fold, he says. Well, I'm glad you folded. Although shoving might have worked. Still
yeah.
glad you folded.
A shove would be so weird, though, for that amount, but he might call with jacks.
Yeah. He also, Batista clearly wants to play a lot of hands right now, so
Yeah.
it's possible he'd think like, what do I care? Let's go.
Fold. Raise 35. Fold.
Speaking of a lot of hands, there's the old flat tire.
Fold.
Nice hand.
Jeremy can call out of the big blind with this hand.
Yep.
This could be it. This could be the one.
Oh yeah? You don't have queens this time?
Heads up.
Clubs for Batiste.
Nothing for Jeremy.
25.
This should do it.
Good.
Jack 5. 4.
Close.
Just in case people didn't realize Batiste was playing every hand.
Yeah.
10-20.
Well, it's because Mason actually called out. He said, you have Jack 5
Oh.
without Batiste showing anything, I think, which is
Oh,
crazy.
I thought he said that after Batiste already threw the
Oh,
jack.
the jack?
The jack
Yeah.
clubs out. Yeah.
Interesting that Mason would know that Batiste was playing Jack Rag, though.
Offsuit 8 on the
I mean, I was just guessing.
Yeah. It's a weird guess.
It's another one of the name hands. It's a nickname hand. So
Jack 5? Jackson 5?
Take
Yeah.
it back. Realize the river.
Jack 6 needs a nickname.
yeah, let's give it a nickname right now. Charles Manson.
That's a weird way
It'll kill your family.
Okay, cool. That makes all the sense in the world.
Batiste continues to play every hand. I expect he's just going to play every hand from here on out unless it's like 4-bet pre.
If there's a 3-bet in front of him, he'll probably fold a lot of hands.
Some hands, but a lot of hands he won't.
Mason going to try to isolate these loose limping ranges with the ace-5 here.
Fold. Fold.
It
We're at 50?
is going to work. He's them both dominated one way or another. Hearts would be a dream. But this is a nightmare. Gut shot for Batiste. That's it.
Yeah, nobody really loving this flop. Mason just gonna give up basically here. Although he does have the best hand.
That 9 could hit Batista or Terminator.
Yeah.
Or even Mason, by the way.
Yeah,
since
he
you
just
checked back the
raised
flop.
limpers.
He absolutely could have trip 9s here.
He might want to just bet to protect his ace high equity.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable.
You'd expect an 8, 9, or king to have bet the turn.
He checks again, and the door is open for anyone. Well, now Mason's actually going to be able to call a bluff much easier. If someone bets, and no one tries.
You got like pocket 7s or something like that?
He definitely doesn't have pocket 7s, Terminator. You
He
block
was-
7s.
He was hoping for a chop. That's what Terminator was.
Ah, that's why I said it. Fair enough.
You missed a bet. You missed a bet.
That was a thriller.
Oh,
I was gonna get there.
it's nice when you're Mason, you've got ace high, and you have the best hand all the way, and no one tries to bluff you
Check
off
out
it.
these relatively reasonable range of V-pips here. Terminator pretty high, but he has been increasing his over the
Oh
past
man, it's
hour
been
or so.
inflating like
Could've never got
the
there.
deficit.
But nobody's over 50, you know?
Yeah.
Proud of these guys.
That's a big deal for poker time.
Wild West series.
For new viewers, let me tell you, we pretty much always have someone over 50.
Where you come
I
over-
mean,
most-
47% is pretty high for
I
a
think
full
most
ring.
cash games usually have somebody over
Oh
50.
yeah,
Is that a sound? Okay, but there were
Holler,
10
Jim.
hollers.
It wasn't a holler.
No, it started that way.
so, 8-handed, having a play over 50% is a lot. It's a lot of hands to play.
It was in there. Made the
There's
final
also fewer early
holler.
positions, so you can play more hands, so maybe it's fine.
table. Seriously.
I mean,
Yeah.
So basically, it
remember-
was
Yeah.
like an $80
Okay.
holler, but basically you're playing the $800 sit and go for one hand.
It says
The holler was just
Ken
slow.
raised, but in fact it looks like Ken folded and
came
Jeremy
over
raised to
twice, I got this
35
off both
with ace deuce of spades. So the graphics
Whatever
are
it
wong
was,
because
yeah.
our
Maybe
interns
not a big
are
78.
the actual
graphics.
the actual
Over
nut low
Hold on.
interns.
So I got it. 78.
We won this.
That's what we're calling him now.
Both times it was
78.
Like somebody have a jack 3.
He's not even listening.
Queen
No.
deuce. So unless I just make a deal.
He's listening to Lady Gaga.
They won them.
Well, it's probably poker
Because
face
this
at least,
thing
so
with
it's
the rookie
on
in
it's
later,
on
see what
theme.
he got. He had 31, he said.
That was just stupid.
Jeremy's going to bet
players.
Sacramento, listen to me. It
after it
happened.
checks to him. Just ignore all the graphics.
Well, not all of them. Wonka
All
has
of them.
ace 10.
Wonka calls with a pair.
Joseph doesn't have a hand though.
13
Trying to sort things out here.
Wonka's got ace 10,
Jeremy's got the spade draw with ace deuce of spades.
and the Jeremy flopped huge.
Yeah. And that's not really the flop though. The flop
No,
had the queen of
But
diamonds.
but that is the board at least.
So Jeremy turned huge.
You're right. Jeremy turned to spade and checks.
He doesn't think Wonka's going to be folding too often on
Yeah.
that card, I think.
And Jeremy makes the nut flush draw
The nut flush.
into the flush.
There you go.
I wasn't finished speaking. Wonka checks again in full bluff catching mode here.
Probably, I don't know if this is going to be a call or a fold. It's going to be a close one.
It's really close. Oh, it's close.
25.
105, almost pot here.
There's the matchups.
Do you have the dates?
No, that doesn't have the dates on it.
Really playing OKC.
The big players will begin on Saturday, April 13th, so that doesn't say on this.
Jeremy could have a hand like ace queen,
It's only half, right?
although Wonka does block that, and king queen.
No, too much commercial time.
Could have a jack, but he's almost always betting that on the turn.
The shit out
Could have backdoor spades, and I know it looks front door,
Yeah.
but it would be backdoor.
But he also could have hands that were giving up on the turn, and now when Wonka checks yet again and a spade comes, he just decides to take a shot. Maybe he has the ace of spades in his hand.
Maybe he has something like pocket eights and realizes it's not good enough.
He opened on the button. I mean, he can be pretty wide here in theory. I don't know if Wonka can fold this hand against Jeremy's button range, although he did go full pot almost. These are probably the things Wonka's thinking about, if anything's going on in his head at all besides, where's your head? I've been waiting. And he does call.
It's been a while since you did the Wonka's dumb joke.
No. It's not Wonka's dumb, it's just Wonka's thoughts to himself are
Ace high flush.
Dumb.
really, or no, it's like what one of the seven dwarfs might be thinking at any time, you know? Do
Do you consider them smart?
Some of them are. Doc? Oh, yeah, Doc isn't smart.
But
you
you're
are
not ta-
unbelievable.
You're not talking about Doc.
I'm
though.
not. I'm talking about Dopey. Wonka probably takes more flack from me than anyone else on this show. That's because I like him. That's what happens. If I like you, I give you flack.
What
the way of the
a great,
world.
what a great deal.
But you know what I'm saying.
So Batiste's going to continue to play every hand, but he's actually been picking up some
is
pretty
a
good
hand,
hands.
This is a hand that you're supposed to play no matter what.
That like figured out or
Yeah, it's fine.
All
See, Mason actually did a pump fake there with that ace deuce because he was like, oh, well, Batiste opened again. He's like,
Well,
early
Ken's taking notice, and he's gonna 3-bet the ace 9.
I like it, Ken. That gets the Grant Dennison stamp of approval, I'm sure.
It does, absolutely.
For ace 9 offsuit.
I wouldn't usually take it against the under the gun player,
No.
but in this case, it makes a lot of sense considering how frequently Batiste has been playing.
Indeed.
Turns out he has a hand this time. And Ken somehow has 6% equity because a lot of aces got folded.
I guess so.
Maybe all of them?
It seems like all the aces were folded. Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
Clearly,
he's got
under
less
1%.
than 1%.
He needs to go running 9s exactly to win.
That's
the
crazy.
only way to win. He's going to fire. There's no way Batiste is folding this flop. This right here, this is the moment that is poker, basically. You started with a good hand. Now you have a medium hand. The guy's betting, and you just can't fold yet. And you don't know where you are.
That's it.
That's
That's
poker.
the whole thing.
That's so much of poker is living in that space of uncertainty. Ken checks it back as essentially giving up. Batiste now feels like he has the best hand.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any getting Batiste to fold here.
Wait,
Ken's gonna try.
This can't work, can it?
We're keeping it real, though.
He did fold the kings before. That's
big
way
enough.
too little.
It's not big enough.
Easy call.
If he went over pot, it might have worked.
Ken can have 10s here easily.
Yeah.
And there's some of them that are hot.
If Ken bet like 700, maybe that
Oh,
works.
yeah, that's at least possible. But the small bet, Ken's trying to fold out a slightly better ace, I guess.
I
don't
guess.
know. I don't
Pocket
know.
sixes.
Yeah, maybe pocket sixes. Jacks are, yeah, way too good based on the line Ken took and the price he gave Batiste to fold.
You know what I mean?
Nice win for Batiste.
Yeah.
And so, then when
Ken's showing some speed, though, and I like that part of it, you know? I like that he's 3-betting light against the frequent opener.
He found the right guy to
C-bet.
3-bet. Just found the
Size
wrong
it
time.
down a little bit too much there on the river, but I don't know. Unless he went super big, it probably wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. But like I said, the only thing I was laughing at, I was like, geez, I thought I only told Wonka, but I don't know if he told somebody or just somebody else obviously had the same thought I did. You know what I mean?
I didn't find anything at the Goodwill I went to. I had to go to like another spot. I was like,
That's a nice little.
glad he had it.
No, it came that way. He says.
Oh, it definitely came that way. I didn't juice it up.
I think they're discussing where they all found their individual denim items.
It's still got the price tag on the back.
No, because when they do all that with the reels, that's already, you can tell.
You can have for whatever I got it for. Well, let's find out. What are we at?
One for the road, bud.
Batiste is indeed playing every hand.
you already got
Yep.
No bluff, no.
Serious, man.
Serious?
No
Yeah, you
bluffing.
totally have it.
I mean, you'll
Honestly,
never
this
wear
is
that.
playing straightforward.
I won't.
If you have
so,
something,
Flops a
you
deuce.
don't check.
Won't be folding for 1-bet.
No chance.
And he leads.
Ah,
Yeah, I was gonna say your
That's weird.
I've seen yet, so I know that it's
Yeah,
really
I
just
like-
yours.
I like them.
looks like he's gonna. Oh,
The deuce?
Maybe.
All right, since we said no
That's
bluffing,
easier
I
than
guess you.
going and seeing if I can return it.
It was good.
Switch it up for
It was
something.
good. It was good.
The most profitable venture.
I mean, I
With
did have
Batiste
two
playing every hand, I don't know if Joseph should be opening on Batiste big blind with 5-3 off.
that's a great point. It's a great point.
Okay with it right there.
If you have something, okay, but deuce.
I guess if you think Batiste is going to be passive post flop, you could do it, right? Because he's going to be super wide. You can just bet twice and usually win, but
But that's not Batiste.
it wasn't that time.
And it's not usually him ever.
If I was trying to win the pot, I would have raised, you know, but I.
Fold. You have a variety of folds.
Wonka definitely has this in the opening range from the cutoff.
And as we saw, even under the gun, since he opened deuces. Batiste going to call with the king-jack in a small blind.
Sorry, Grant, you with me? Or heads up.
Batiste with another reasonable hand. Flop's a gutter. Wonka's not going to love that flop. But he's,
Part of Wonka's problem is, Wonka checks it back, and Batiste gets there on the turn. Checks again.
and that's
We can't
not,
see Wonka, but there he is.
35.
Well, I'll tell you what, that game one is going to be interesting. Then.
Gotta think this is usually the end of the betting for these players.
Yep.
Well, Batiste
Well-
makes it.
Makes it straight, so maybe Batiste leads.
I mean, I went there, I wouldn't watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the hearts did come on the turn also, which Batiste can't totally love
You know how much
when
grief
that's when
you
Wonka
catch if
decided to
CJ
start betting.
yourself today?
Yeah.
Right.
Straight.
But
Dame has been working best.
there's no trying to lose.
That said, hard to get
Herm Edwards in the huddle and
worse hands that have some value to call. sorry, to bet. Like Wonka's not going to bet an ace on the river. Wonka's not going to bet very much at all on the river. If he had 9-10, he might not bet that on the river.
Probably not.
Yeah. So maybe Batiste should be leading anyway, even though he's losing some things.
You just don't want to get bluffed, you know.
Yeah, I know. But don't you want to make money every time you're ahead and he's going to call?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Wonka just has more hearts in his range than Batiste does, which is a slight problem with that.
That is true.
That would be probably.
This is me, but I think that
Batiste has the Jack of Hearts, though, as a pretty key blocker.
Yeah, you
card.
just think that if Batiste had a flush draw, he would have led the turn.
A lot of the time he would have. Although that board specifically, he may have chosen not to.
Maybe.
But usually he's going to
in
lead
the
the turn.
playoffs, that's what I'm saying. In the playoffs.
Wonka with another playable hand.
You know who's gonna listen? Utah. And you know
The hand's playable,
Russell Westbrook.
and Wonka's playing it.
Okay, give me the
The
ball.
jacket's wearable.
Or give me the PG.
And Batiste is going to take the ace wheel and 3-bet.
Because he's playing every hand.
This is a better way to play this hand than calling.
It sure is.
And it
Wonka
works
just
just
throws
right
it away.
away.
Wonka doesn't want to play ace jack off out of position.
Even when Batiste is playing every hand, Wonka's sticking to the plan,
Yep.
which maybe he shouldn't. I mean, Batiste is really going bonkers.
He is going bonkers. I mean, Wonka's going to call and lose a lot post flop anyway.
Yeah, still.
Still.
It might be plus EV to call there.
Or you could just 4-bet.
Yeah.
Turn your hand into a bluff because you've got, as you like to say, significant blockers.
You have a problem with that?
I have a problem
You
with
seem,
you.
you seem to have a problem.
I have a problem with you. I'm just going to come around and tell everyone.
After the show, we fight.
I don't like the things about you
Might be the 4.
that are not cool, which is an amount of things.
An amount of things.
There's a number that's been counted.
All right, let's see how crazy Batiste is getting. It looks like he's 3-betting the Jack 5
Yeah,
now.
he's completely lost his mind.
He's decided to play. He's only got so much poker time left in his life. He's going to play it all.
He's going to squeeze every last piece of juice out of this orange. Terminator
is-
not folding.
He is in bad shape against the ace 5 here.
However,
I don't like it when you
he's
talk.
going to win a lot anyway, right?
You got to love that split screen, don't you, Levy?
I do. It's perfect. Look how perfect that is. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. He's going to continue.
This will work.
And
Mason, what hand do I have?
Ace king.
Jackson 5.
Ace king 10 or ace king.
Jack. Oh,
Yeah.
I had to do it. I had a Jack 5.
I don't think that's why you had to do it, Batiste. I think it was more of a overall compulsion.
Hey, what, I mean, of course you fold. It's easy to play. Jack, man.
Well, it's been working for Batiste. His stack is growing as he plays.
it really
every
has
hand.
been. You play every hand. It works. It can really work. People aren't going to 4-bet you if you're 3-betting constantly. You're not going to be one to 4-bet you light. It's going to work. A lot of the time, anyway.
It's the type of thing that Calvin Anderson used to do, right? Just decide, like, I'm going to see if I
Yeah.
can win 40 hands in a row. And that's how he taught himself to play, like, infinite hands.
That's correct.
And he was very
That's what
successful.
it would take.
He's the #1 ranked player in the world.
I'll say it.
Never root for anyone to get injured.
I'm not rooting for that either.
But yeah.
But if you think that the general manager doesn't think that way,
Probably almost impossible to win 40 hands in a row.
I mean, I can't imagine he did it more than once or twice successfully, if at all.
I would guess he never.
What do you think is
won.
the most hands he ever won in a row? I should ask
Over
him.
under?
Yeah.
I would go with like 13.
I take the over.
when Chris hamstringed the hamstring.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think Houston had that.
Chris Paul got hurt in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Got a 10 here for Batiste.
Somehow Batiste, who plays every
one that
hand,
had
seems to
300
now be winning every hand.
Well, he could still lose this one, although it's going to be tough. I don't think anybody's going to give him any action here.
Jeremy would have to be the guy.
Yeah, Jeremy could check raise. He's got the backdoor flush draw with the front door straight draw. But Batiste is getting all
Front door straight draw.
Yeah, he's got the front
He's
door.
got a
straight.
gut shot, right?
Yeah, it's his
See what
front
I
door
mean?
straight draw. He
Well.
only needs to go right in the front door. Hit that 4.
Jeremy is going to play it.
He's just
as
gonna
a
call.
Call. This is him really not believing Batiste.
Yeah,
though.
this is him saying ace high is good sometimes,
Yeah.
which of course it is.
Joseph is now thinking about what to do. Is Joseph going to make a play?
It looks like he is.
Joseph knows that Batiste, both Joseph and Jeremy know Batiste is out of line a lot here. Batiste finally has top pair, and no one believes him, and here comes the punishment.
This is a big bet.
540.
And Batiste is in a tough spot here.
With Jeremy behind him, I don't think he's going to call.
He's aware of his current image as well, though, and that's probably going through his mind.
But think about, like, if you call here, you're facing potential huge bets on turn and river.
As we saw, this happened earlier where Joseph shoved the river with 6 deuce.
Yep. And now they're deeper than they were. I mean, Joseph is in theory threatening Batiste's entire $3,000 that's in front of him
Yeah.
with this raise. And with top pair, no kicker, flush draw, and a guy behind you, I don't see how you could really consider
This
it.
is going to just work unless Jeremy decides to go completely bananas and back raise.
He would have to go ham,
Yeah.
as the millennials say. But how can Jeremy do that? Joseph has the sets.
I don't know. I don't know if that's even millennials, the ham thing. I think that
It's
might
younger, right?
Yeah, Gen Z.
I heard kids saying that on skateboards recently, and they said it not with a sense of the meta of it.
It was
They were just
actually
sort
on
of saying it.
bicycles. It was on bicycles.
You don't know where I was.
Yeah, I do because I was there.
No, you're thinking of a different time.
It happened again?
It happened again.
You're just lying now for sure.
So what?
Yeah.
I can lie.
That was in Bend where one of our
Yeah.
wonderful listeners, Zach McCurran, hooked us up with free hotel stay.
Yeah,
Feel free to do
amazing.
stuff like that.
Resort. It was a resort. Even it wasn't just a hotel.
It was
It was
beautiful.
incredible.
Feel free to give the Poker Guys stuff, everybody who's watching.
We accept your gifts. You can send stuff to us. You can give us free stuff to eat, drink,
Free hotel stays.
hotel stays, trips of any kind, merchandise. We are in on all of it.
Yeah, we accept.
Send it to the Poker Guys. If you want to know how to do that, just get us on Twitter. We will tell you. We're not afraid to share that
We're not
information.
afraid at all. Anyway, we got Batiste again in the hand. We got 6-3 for Terminator.
Do you have pocket jacks?
That's
I didn't even watch the hand.
Four players.
And you still know.
Nothing for nobody. There is
I
a
don't know
flop,
what I had.
I think.
Nah. 78.
Where's the flop?
78.
There it
That's
is.
just not
Well,
even-
that's not even the flop.
No, there was
78.
2 fours and a queen, and then the deuce came on the turn, 78. Gut shot for Terminator. Gut shot for Batiste. Oh, it says, this is just a disaster, this hand. In terms of
We're getting it together.
The graphics.
78's
All right.
not the best.
So we got a bet and a call.
It looks like it'll be 79 next time.
Jeremy and Joseph fold. Everyone misses. Anyone who wants it can go get it.
It's a chop with the 6 high. Well, it's actually the queen
Terminator's
high.
going to bet it, and Batista's going to fold. Does he bet 25?
50.
He bet 50, okay. 15 to 90.
I'd answer your question by betting. You got it.
Do we need to pause it? We're good? Okay.
All right, so what are the chances Batiste plays every hand from here on out? He's already played, 7 or 8 in a row?
I think he's playing every hand unless there's a lot of action in front of him. Like at least a 3-bet in front of him. I think he's playing every hand. That's my guess. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
or you could just have them.
We've got, something like 10 minutes left?
Something like that.
Look at you, action fiend.
I just want to play a bonfire. 2 for 50 sounds pretty good to me.
Well, Jack 8 suited is a pretty nice hand, especially
mean-
for Batiste.
There you go. If we look at the
Plus
ranges,
plus one is usually a fold, but for Batiste, this is a miracle. Ken's going to
call it
crush
the
him.
Queen 8, and somehow
Crush and
somehow he
destroy
knows.
him with the Queen 8.
So Jeremy's got to decide to 3-bet or to call. Because
Feels
he's
like a
never
3-bet. It
folding.
really feels like a 3-bet right now.
He's deciding to just call instead.
Wonka's got to call now.
Yep. Well, Batiste is dominated in jacks, dominated in 8s. If 4 clubs come out, 2 guys will have bigger flushes. This is a big whiff.
It's a huge not whiff for Wonka.
Monster flop for Wonka. And it checks to Jeremy. It's just going to check. Wonka's got all the equity. Not anymore.
Now Jeremy has the best hand, and Wonka's equity goes up in flames. He still has some, but really, that one hurt a lot.
Yep. But he decides not to bluff this turn. Jeremy's got the best hand. Gotta believe he thinks that as well.
65?
Wonka's got to at least call.
Yeah.
Usually just call. Raising right now would be kind of strange.
He can have the best hand. Jeremy can have spades. Can just be deciding to bet the ace because Batiste checked it and so did Ken.
Okay,
265 total.
Wonka is gonna raise. Maybe he's trying to knock out some weak aces.
Yeah, that's a reasonable thought.
Also, Jeremy doesn't have to have a big hand. Of course, if he doesn't, then Wonka usually has the best hand anyway.
Batiste, once again, feels like he's got a spot here where he can raise.
He wants to make a move. It would work once again. It almost always would work. But
it wouldn't be a very good story.
no, and the truth is, if you keep doing that, people will stop folding. So Jeremy's in an interesting spot here. He just got check raised by Wonka. Wonka could have things like sets of 6s and 9s. Not impossible. He made a check the flop, hoping to check raise. Then the ace comes. It's kind of a great card to again go for the check raise on. Jeremy, though, I think correctly surmises this is pretty much among the best hands he's ever going to have here.
So Wonka's going to have to bomb the river whether or not he gets there. That's basically the plan, right?
He doesn't have to. Jeremy could have spades that missed, or worse, hearts. Although he's usually going to bet hearts on the flop. He might just be giving up once Jeremy calls, though. Now it looks like Jeremy might actually have ace-9 or ace-6. He does check. Jeremy checks right back, of course.
Wonka doesn't like to see the check back.
Yeah, Wonka knows he's dead there. Nice hand for Jeremy. Jeremy just, I think, using distribution as his friend.
Yeah.
Make that call.
As Wonka, it's weird. Even though you have kind of a bad hand by the river, you want your opponent to bet because then at least you have a chance to win. Maybe you don't call, but at least you maybe think it through and make the call and can win because Jeremy has a bluff. But when Jeremy checks it back, he's pretty much always got king 5 deep.
2 plus, just 2 total.
Unless he has spades, it just doesn't want to.
He just gives up.
Go after the guy who just check raised him.
Check raised and then check though.
No, if it
Yeah.
just be where it's at.
Seems like a good time to take your shot.
Yeah.
Same.
I'll pass
That,
on the bottom.
that situation, I wasn't.
I was thinking the same thing.
I wonder if Wonka was going to bet spades also on the river.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, the reason I say
Of course,
that, otherwise you
once
just
he's
take
called,
in
yeah.
Randy's
So he's
money away from
got
the
half the deck plus kings and 5s
Yeah.
to bet.
Yeah.
So about half the deck.
Yeah.
It's reasonable.
I got
Batiste once again with a reasonable hand. Of course, I guess if you play every hand, some of them will be reasonable.
Ken has folded the 8 deuce. Jeremy looks interested. With 7-3 suited, huh?
And he is going to. Is that a call or is that a raise?
It's just a call.
Weird.
I feel like this is the most weirdly out of line thing we've seen Jeremy do for
Strange.
a full 4 hours.
Strange things are afoot for sure at the Circle K.
Tormator's in there as well. And bottom 2.
No problem for Jeremy. Just flops it. It almost looks like he smiled a little bit there. Like
It's
he
like,
sort
I
of
can't believe
it.
this happened.
This is so ridiculous. Everyone checks to him. Time to start betting. I think Batista's not folding.
He's probably calling once.
Let's see. On a bricky type turn, Batista might call a second time. Also, the 4s and 5s would be good.
That's a pretty bricky type
That's as
turn.
bricky as they get as a turn from Batista's point of view. If he was ahead on the flop, he's pretty much always ahead on the turn. For sure, Jeremy's going to bet again.
$175.
Batiste is having none of it.
Batiste is just a complete skeptic when it comes to Jeremy betting.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen this before, like the insta calls. 9 on the river. Nice and safe. I think Jeremy should go for value.
Yeah.
Batiste has, like, a queen or jacks or something. That
Just
decides to
something
hold
you can
on.
call with.
I mean, the 5 shouldn't matter very often. Once in a while, you've been rivered, but almost never. Batiste does sometimes will take strange lines with good hands, like top pair also, where he will check.
120.
That's
Wow,
120.
super small. Batiste cannot like that.
Oh, he's raising.
Whoa! Yeah, Batiste figured out that he was behind, but gets
Jeremy
called right away.
quickly. That was the whole plan for Jeremy.
Yeah, he was inducing. Great play. Great play by Jeremy.
Pair. 2 pair.
And that's a painful way for this session to be ending for Batiste.
Well, there's still time for one more hand. I'm happy
Well,
to say.
it's going to be tough to make up that. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you never know. The thing about No Limit, it can all change in an instant, man. Your whole fortune, your whole life can turn around just like that.
And Batiste will be in the big blind. I'm going to guess he's going to play it.
I think he's going to play most hands most of the time here.
Yes.
I guess there could be a hurricane that could destroy the building, and he would not get a chance to play this hand. A meteor could strike the earth, killing all of us. That might also make it harder for him to play.
Well, Ken's going to open the threes on the final hand of Batiste's session.
Yeah.
Last time, the Batiste will be in poker time for a while at least.
If not ever.
Is that the last hand, Grant?
Yeah, this is the last one.
You're 5 on you, bro?
Oh, no, we got no. Oh.
For your,
Yeah.
He's pretending like he's got a terrible hand.
He's got a pretty nice hand.
He sure does.
He
Not a good
flops.
flop, though.
Not well. And Ken wins the last hand of the Batiste session. That feels wrong, but that's what happened.
Sometimes it goes that way. Well, that was a lot of fun, for sure.
We're going to miss you, Batiste.
We are. But everyone else, come back next week for more poker time. We're going to have a new players, new session.
Super
new
fun.
stuff.
Targeting garbage.